Hi and welcome to this week's energy forecast. I am Rachel Thompson Phillips, the creator of the BU Oracle cards and also of the Sacred Oracle online program. This week's energy forecast is for March the 7th through to March the 13th, with the overall theme being how to infuse more magic in your manifestations. Let's go in and have a look at the messages through the Oracle card. Monday and Tuesday is the card of hope. Wednesday through till Friday is the card of chaos. And the weekend's message is to stop. So with the beginning of the week being the card filled with hope is about understanding that hope is the gateway in which to access more self-belief, more confidence, more determination and willpower to achieve your dreams. When you allow yourself to activate that energy frequency of hope, it means that you just surrender and you let go to the outcome of how your dreams are going to infuse. Whatever it was that you manifested, they're your dreams. You want them to come true. You don't want them to just be something that you think about. You want them to materialize into your current reality. So when you surrender the desire to know the outcome, how it's going to unfold, it reminds me of the message or the expression that states, only focus on the things that you can change and let go of all the things that you can't. So have a look at all the things, infuse more hope into the things that you can control. You can control your mindset, you can control your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, you can control the affirmations that you want to. This is the time to really step into amping up your spiritual practices. And for each person, they all have different gateways that helps them to be able to access that inner soulful truth, where you know that you are directly in line with your soul communication. Intuition is like firing and it feels awesome and magnetic. And it's that space where the dreams that you have written that you want to manifest underneath the new moon last week is protected by any form of negativity. And that's where hope resides, because when you allow yourself to sit in that energy field, it dissolves away any negativity that can come through and penetrate and bring in those fears and doubts and limitations and procrastination and self-sabotage. You want to be able to allow your spiritual practice to amplify your truth, your conviction, and your belief that you just know that what you've manifested will unfold. That is the magnificence of hope, is because it, as I mentioned, opens up that gateway for you to just step in. And last week was about declaring what you want. This week is about being able to sit in the space of knowing that you already own it. It's already yours, and all you're doing is doing all of the actionable steps and the energy soul work, which is that beingness component of who is the person that you need to be, and then just allowing the right, correct, divine timing that everything will unfold. And when you come from that space of deep inner knowingness, you keep going through your actions, you keep showing up, you keep doing all the things that you know is, again, ticking the boxes that says, yes, I trust, yes, I know, yes, I believe. And therefore, you just are just sitting, waiting patiently, waiting for things to return back to you in a material form. So then we move through to the midweek, which is, perhaps if I turn it around the right way, the card of chaos. Now, the card of chaos is only just a form of representation of letting you know that you've become disconnected from yourself. It means you're sitting too much in your head and you have forgotten the essence of uniting both your head and heart together. So as you can see, Monday and Tuesday was about doing those spiritual practices, but it looks like by midweek you sort of start to go, well, I'm starting to see some evidence of some, awesome things starting to become synchronistic and showing up in my world. And then you've dropped the ball and forgotten to continue to do it. This is why it's so important that your spiritual practices becomes a daily practice. It's not something that you just do to get an outcome, and then as soon as you get the outcome, you forget all about it. It's about continuing to practice that, so that again, it brings a beautiful unity. When we get stuck in our head, we tend to usually more operate from the masculine and only worry about the action and the hustle, and I've got to do, and I've got to take this action, and it becomes a very forced energy field. Whereas when you allow the unity of head and heart, it allows the unity of both the feminine and the masculine, because the femininity is about the strength, the softness, the connection to your intuition. It's about cracking open your heart. And I love how, like, my shirt is all got the heart on it. So it's about opening up your heart, because when you get stuck in your head, you start to shrink and confine your manifestations, and we want them to be infused with magic. So we want to let them out. We want them the freedom to breathe. And so therefore, when you drop down into your heart space, again, is that knowingness that it is going to show up. It's about that connection of being deeply connected in the trust and the information that's coming through intuitively for you, and following that intuitive information as well. It's about being able to understand that where is your gap. If there has become a disconnection within yourself, where is the gap? What is showing up for you that is showing where energy is being leaked? Are you moving into a space of overthinking things? Are you allowing doubt and fear to come back in? Where is it within your own self? Or is it that when sometimes the thing that's just coming through right now is that it's really important that when you think of your manifestations, you're doing your spiritual practice, that you're also implementing how to ground your manifestations into this current reality. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can do a lot of visualization and all of that yummy stuff that keeps you really activated and awakened inside of your dreams and feeling them, but it can be outside of yourself, very etherical out there in the cosmos. We want to be able to bring all of that magic and bring that and embody it into your physical structure that sits and resides within this reality of this world. So when you're doing your visualization techniques, bring them into your physical structure and feel them ground deeply into this world. So therefore they don't become some fairy tale. The reason I say that is a lot of the times when we think about dreaming, it's like that daydreaming. It's about putting that hope out, but then a little bit of fear creeps in, and then you start letting those doubts come in, and then those dreams become something that happens to someone else and not to you. That's why it's so important to ground them in, so that there's that ownership. I own these dreams. These dreams that I'm manifesting is completely supported and surrounded by magic, and magic can show up at any time, and you want to ground that into this reality so that you're expanding and giving yourself permission to receive them into your current reality. Because as you can see, come the weekend around, sorry about the glare. The stop card is about stop letting yourself be overrun by those fears and doubts. Have a look at how you can reframe them, okay? So you want to stop those cycles of fears and doubts, and you're probably sitting there going, this is a little bit unusual. I'm going to infuse magic into my manifestations. Why is it that Rachel's talking to me about fears and doubts? Why? Because they're natural and they're normal. As you start practicing different techniques to be able to connect more deeply with your dreams, what's going to happen is that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. And what's the very first thing that shows up the moment you step out of your comfort zone? Resistance. And so therefore, when you think about those fears and doubts that start to come into your consciousness, this is that beautiful moment that your soul is saying, now these things that I'm mirroring back to you have the potential to be your block. So I'm going to reveal them to you right now. And because you're such a powerful spiritual badass, you know the techniques on how to reframe and shift your energy to be in alignment with those manifestations. So align your thoughts, align your energy, align your self-belief and convictions. And as a lot of people say, you know, it's time to activate those courage codes to know that it is okay to feel nervous stepping outside of your comfort zone. But what is not okay is you stopping yourself from having the very thing that you deeply desire. So the stop card is also about recognizing to drop back down and reconnect with your dreams, reconnect with those visions, reconnect to the feeling, and remember why you want them so much. Tony Robbins always shares that whenever you are in doubt, go back to your why, because your why reminds you of what's so important about the significance of the dreams, your manifestations that you want. And when you allow yourself to connect back to the essence of why you want your manifestations to materialize, this is where, again, you open up the place for magic to happen, because you're speaking from a space of truth. When you come from that space of hope and owning what you want and rebalancing that connection back from your head and your heart, and then reframe your fears and doubts, that is when you become so freaking powerful, because you know that you are the co-creator of your destiny. So it means that you are showing up with conviction to the universe and with your soul, saying, I know my soul's mission and blueprint that you have created for me, and I am willing to show up and do the actionable steps and practice my spiritual aspect within myself, so I can drop back into my beingness and know that my spiritual practices are as equally important as my action steps that I take. And I commit to fulfilling my role and making sure that I infuse as much magic into my manifestations. And I declare that and decide that right now. So this is where shit gets really, really awesome. So I wish you an incredibly amazing week ahead. Much love to you. Take care, and I'll see you again next week.